So as we close today, I really do want to say thanks to everybody for coming out this morning and supporting the Noble Foundation and your future support of the Noble Research Institute, because this truly is a historic transition in our history. And it wasn't a decision that we took lightly when we made this decision. And the Ardmore community has always counted on us, and you can continue to count on us now and into the future. So if Mary Kate and Steve would please join me up on stage, or I guess we're going to go down here. We do want to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. And while we're kind of getting this set up, we've got members of what we call our leadership team here today, so if y'all would please stand up. I've got, of course, Mary Kate and Steve and Adam here, and there's Jill and Jeff Moen, and you recognize you, Al Joe, Charlie Canny, Melanie Davis, Billy Cook, Zing Yu Wong, and Michael Uvardi. We have done a little restructuring at the leadership level, and we can talk about that at another date. We did want to try to make the focus today is on the Noble Research Institute, but I welcome this team. It's the best staff I've ever had a chance to work with in my entire business career, and we're all charged and ready to really do some great things for Ardmore and agriculture in general. So, does anybody have any questions? Thank you, folks.
Tell us a little bit about the leadership, who they report to, and how that works.
Sure, Curtis. So what we did is that we've always felt like everybody is connected to one another in some form or fashion. What we did do is that we dissolved the divisions. So there is no more an ag division, a plant biology division, nor is there any longer a forage improvement division, which kind of defined the activities of the foundation itself. And we've always felt like that the Noble Foundation is the Noble Foundation. And the employees of the Noble Foundation were employees of the foundation itself. They weren't employees just of plant biology, not just of forage improvement. And what we wanted to do was create more cross-cultural working together, sharing of ideas, opening up the creative thought processes that really take place, not just in the labs, but also in offices and meeting spaces and so forth. And so what we tried to do and wanted to do was build that leadership team around their core skill sets and their competencies. And maybe with the question, I'll just go ahead and further explain a little bit. Billy Cook, who ran our ag division beforehand, Billy's going to be handling the ag systems group, which is basically the management of all of our farms and ranches and a lot of the systems research. Agriculture is moving forward in a systematic way. We're looking below the ground, we're looking at the ground, and we're looking at the livestock that are foraging on that landscape, and also we're looking at the connection to humans. And so as everything continues to evolve and develop in ag, a systems approach to agriculture is what's required. And this is what Billy's group's going to do. They're also going to take a look at all the new technology that's out there. So it's sensor technology, UAV technology, and stay on top of all that in terms of how we can take that information and translate it back over to applied practices, if you will, with our farmers and ranchers. Hugh, who used to work with Billy, Hugh runs our producer relations group, which is all of our consultation group. And we've got Jill over here, still our chief financial officer. Jeff Moen is our head of strategic alliances, which is a new group. And as Steve pointed out, there's so many opportunities for us to do more business development type of activities at the foundation that we really do need to have a stronger focus on the strategic alliances that we have in the marketplace. A lot of people want to come to the Noble Foundation these days and work with us. They see us as a truly unbiased, trusted, reputable source of research and information and consultation. And this group continues to provide that on a daily basis. Charlie runs our facilities because we have to maintain that campus and as well as some of the farms and buildings and the way that we keep them operational. Zing Yu used to run our forage division. Zing Yu is now responsible for transformation, genomic transformation, and a new technology called genome editing. And genome editing is a new way of really advancing plant breeding to another level. And if you've been reading a little bit about it in the newspaper, I feel blessed that we have one of the noted researchers in this area, and we really wanted Zing Yu to really concentrate on his craft, which is building out our genome editing capabilities and transformation lab. And he's also responsible for all of our core services on the basic scientific scale. And Mike Uvardi, Dr. Uvardi is our new Chief Scientific Officer. And what we wanted to do was bring all the research discipline, all of our principal investigators under one individual who will continue to guide and the research at the foundation. But also, more importantly, in some instances too, is to be out there and look for these ongoing technologies. Jeff and I can go out and beat the bush as much as we want, but if we don't really have that science background and that understanding of the different technologies that are out there, we really need that resource also out there of somebody with Michael's broad view on the industry and the technology. So that helps us stay current and true to our activities. And of course, Steve, legal counsel and head of federal affairs, but then also is responsible for our education activity, which is all coming under the Noble Academy umbrella. And this was also a brainchild of Steve's, and the Noble Academy has really been a blossoming effort in our activities and throughout all of our schools in the southern Oklahoma area. And then Amy, are you here, Amy Hayes? Yeah, Amy. And Amy has been running all of our adult education, and that's getting us old guys to be thinking more like millennials in terms of how we educate and translate information and knowledge to people and farmers and ranchers and so forth. So all that's coming up underneath Steve's tutelage at the Noble Academy in Education. Of course, Mary Kate described her activities, and then Melanie Davis over here is responsible for our computing services group. And this is one of the biggest challenges that the Foundation, Noble Research Institute faces, is that ability to keep up with technology as it relates to big data and bioinformatics, market informatics. We generate a lot of data, and it's a real challenge on how we're going to keep up with that. So, Curtis, it was a short question with a long answer, but I don't think I would have done it justice if I'd have just said whatever. I think we've made enough changes there that I think it's important that everybody kind of understands how we're structured from that perspective. So thank you.
Did you leave anything for yourself?
No, that's as you know, Daryl, delegation is the key. I'm going to stay on an airplane and do my duty outside too. So thank you.
We've got another question back here.
It sounds like advocacy is going to be a new opportunity for the Institute. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Will that just be lobbying efforts? Will it go beyond that, or what all is involved there?
I'm going to answer just a piece of that and give the mic to Steve. We've really been strong advocates, both in Washington, D.C., as in at the state level as well, for agricultural sciences, but also ag policy. And as Steve indicated, there's only so much that we can say or do in that respect, and this kind of gives us more freedom to be stronger advocates. And again, people want to come and work with us to help find solutions to problems. And Steve is also a very modest individual. When he talked about Congress passing this piece of legislation, he actually wrote the piece of legislation. And he has been shepherding it through with Gary Simmons. Are you here? I think you're planning on being here. Yeah, Gary, with Gary's son Brett in the early stages, really just trying to get this thing moving through. And it's been a big tussle with the dysfunctionality of Congress these days. But like I said, I want to give credit where credit's due, and it's a brilliant piece of legislation. But you can go on from that.
Sure. It's a new tool so we've got a little bit of development to do. It's nothing that we've been able to do directly since our inception. So what we'll begin to look at are other institutions and how they formulate their own government affairs office. We'll have to pick and choose what we want to get involved in. We're not going to turn into a think tank or a lobby shop. Our primary function is research, but there are a lot of crossovers where there's a piece of policy. We, in large part, haven't been able to even educate legislators. We have subject matter experts that go all the way from the field to the laboratory, and there's a lot of times they turn to us and they ask us our opinion, and we simply have had to be silent. So we'll pick and choose and fight those fights that are appropriate, but we do see it as a new opportunity.
Any other questions? Okay, Bill, will you close this, please?
I think you just did. And I'm going to go see if that sprinkled donut's still available. But thank you all very much. We appreciate it.